Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. I'm Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we're in Bible study. We're in the NIV. We're in the book of First Chronicles. We're in chapter 27. Army divisions. This is the list of Israelites, heads of families, commanders of thousands, commanders of hundreds, and their officers who served the king and all that concerned the army divisions that were on duty month by month throughout the year. Each division consisted of 24,000 men. Got a minimum number there. In charge of the first division for the first month was Jashobim, Jashobam, son of Zabdiel, Zabdiel. There were 24,000 men in his division. He was descendant of Perez and chief of all army officers for the first month. In charge of the division for the second month was Dodai, Dodai, the Ahohite, Ahohite. Milkoth was the leader of his division. There were 24,000 men in his division. The third army commander for the third month was Benaniah, son of Jehoiada, the priest. He was chief, and there were 24,000 men in his division. This was the Benaniah who was a mighty man among the 30, was over the 30. His son, Amizabad, Ammizabad, was in charge of his division. The fourth, for the fourth month, was Ashiel, the brother of Jobab. His son Zebediah was his successor. There were 24,000 men in his division. The fifth, for the fifth month, was the commander Shamueth, the Israelite. There were 24,000 men in his division. The sixth, for the sixth month, was Ira, the son of Ikish, Ikkesh, the Tekoitite, Tekotite. There were 25,000 men in his division. The seventh, for the seventh month, was Helez, the Pelionite, an Ephraimite. There were 24,000 men in his division. The eighth, for the eighth month, was Sibekiah, the Hushite, a Zerahite. There were 24,000 men in his division. The ninth, for the ninth month, was Abiezer, the Anothanite, Anathothite, and Benjaminite. There were 24,000 men in his division. For the 10th, in the 10th month, there was Maharai, Mahari, the Nephiotite, a Zerahite. There were 24,000 men in his division. In the 11th month, there was Benaiah, the Pirathonite, Prathonite, an Ephraimite. There were 24,000 men in his division. In the 12th month was Heladiah, the Nephiotite, from the family of Othniel. There were 24,000 men in his division. Officers of the tribes. The officers over the tribes of Israel, over the Reubenites, Eleazar, son of Zichri. Over the Simeonites, Shephatiah, son of Makkah. Over Levi, Hashabiah, son of Kemuel, Kemuel. Over Aaron, Zadok. Over Judah, Elihu, brother of David. Over Issachar, Omri, son of Michael. Over Zebulun, Ishmaiah, son of Obadiah. Over Naphtali, Jeremoth, son of Azriel. Over the Ephraimites, Hoshea, son of Azahiah. Over the half-tribe of Manasseh, Joel, son of Pedaiah. Over the half-tribe of Manasseh in Gilead, Edo, son of Zechariah. Over Benjamin, Jasiel, son of Abner. Over Dan, Azrael, son of Jeroham. These were the officers over the tribes of Israel. David did not take the number of men 20 years old or less, because the Lord had promised to make Israel as numerous as the stars in the sky. Jobab, son of Zeruiah, began to count the men, but did not finish. Wrath came upon Israel on the account of this numbering, and the numbering was not entered into the book, or the Septuagint in the Hebrew number, the number was not entered into the book of the annals of King David. The king's overseers, Azmaveth, Azmaveth, son of Adidil, was in charge of the royal storehouses. Jonathan, son of Uzziah, was in charge of the storehouses in the outlying districts, in the towns, the villages, and the watchtowers. Ezri, the son of Caleb, it's with Kelub, was in charge of the field workers who farmed the land. Shimei, the Rathamanite, was in charge of the vineyards. Zabadi, the Shippamite, was in charge of the produce of the vineyards for the wine vats. Baal Hanan, the Gileadite, was in charge of the olive and sycamore fig trees in the western foothills. Joash was in charge of the supply of olive oil. Okay. Shitrai, Shitrai, the Sharonite, was in charge of the herds grazing in the Sharon. Shaphat, Shaphat, son of Adaliah, was in charge of the herds in the valleys. Obadiah, the Ishmaelite, was in charge of the camels. Jehadiah, the Meronothite, was in charge of the donkeys. Jaiz, Jaziz, the Hagarite, was in charge of the flocks. All these were the officials in charge of King David's property. Jonathan, David's uncle, was a counselor, a man of insight, and a scribe. Jehiel, Jehiel, son of Hacamoni, Hacmoni, took care of the king's sons. Ahithophel, Ahithophel, was the king's counselor. Hushai, the Archite, was the king's friend. Ahithophel was succeeded by Jehoiada, son of Benaniah, and by Abiathar. Jobab was the commander of the royal army. So these are all the people who were in charge of very important stages of the royal court of King David. Think of them as people who were in his various privy or war councils. Very important in running a country. Right? So the next chapter here is, in the next video, we'll be talking about David's plans for the temple. If you're fascinated by about the temple of King Solomon, you should come back for the next video, friends.